Another way to stay motivated. Remember those P's? Perseverance, persistence. The last one is called participate. If you've gotten to that place, particularly that place in writer's block where you're really, part of it is when we lose our motivation and everybody goes there and you kind of, oh my God, nobody likes my stuff. Maybe even I don't like my stuff. We just feel like everything is awful and it's not worth it. That's when you have to go outside and meet people. So if you recall, as a writer, you're pretty much writing alone. You know, you've got that little sanctuary we talked about. Well, that's sort of isolating you in a way, if you think about it. Every writer needs to come out of that once in a while and be part of the community. It's not unlike the shepherd. The shepherd goes up in the hill looking after his sheep, and he's all by himself in his little cabin. And I mean, he might talk to his sheep, I don't know, but by and large, he's on his own, right? Well, ever so often, the shepherd has to come down from that hill and gets into the village. And he's the one, you know, you can recognize the shepherd because he's the one who's going blah, 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 telling all these stories. That's because he's connecting. He needs to connect. He's been isolated, he's, you know, like a hermit. And when he comes out of that and he goes to his, you know, meets his community, he's out there. Every writer needs to do that. It's a fine balance between being with a community and then writing, essentially about your community. If you think about it, the role of the artist is just that, you know, one foot in each door. You're with your community and then you walk away and you write and you're making commentary. So the neat thing about that is it helps you motivate yourself, particularly if you meet the right people. And I'm talking about writing communities, going to conferences, finding other professional writers that are out there that are willing to meet with you. One of the first things that I did when I went to a local writers convention was I found a professional writer. Turned out to be Robert J. Sawyer, one of the top SF writers in the country, if not the top SF writer, well known. He's a person. He talked to me. It was great, very friendly, very approachable, very wise. A lot of experience behind him. He had some wonderful words of inspiration for me, and zoom, I was off and running. Your writing community, and every community has that. I mean, in this community here, there are many local writers that are more than willing to share with you. You just need to find them, and you find them at conventions. So going to places like that, seeking people is a good way of doing it. Writing a blog, I know someone who just started a blog over there. Next thing you know, you've got people coming in. The neat thing about blogs on the internet or social networks, we can talk about that later too, and I will later in the next workshop, is that you have interaction with your readers. So there you are. In fact, blogging is a very powerful way of touching base with your community, your relevant community, your writing community, as well as getting feedback on your stuff. I know people who actually write their articles and write part of their novels on their blog and get feedback as they're writing, which is really cool. It's like having a giant writers group. Oh, and that's another thing. Join or form a writers group. Find other people who are like yourself, writing in isolation. Get together and chow about stuff. You can help each other in terms of what's challenging and whatnot. And sometimes that's enough to get you going. You can even if you trust each other, this is important in a writer's group, you need to trust each other. You can even critique each other's works, and that helps as well. So that's something that I totally suggest that you do, recommend, to keep you motivated.
Are you a writer looking to get published? Then visit thepassionatewriter.com and purchase The Fiction Writer. Get published right now. It's a guide that provides the basic tools that every beginning writer needs to get published. It's packed with real examples and practical exercises. This is your shortcut to getting published. Author Nina Munteanu is lively and humorous and makes learning fun. Give your book the chance it deserves to get published. Visit thepassionatewriter.com now to learn more.